So, welcome to Surgical Stories On. This is the first episode, and you surely will enjoy it. So, I'm going to be giving you very interesting stories of the things that happen in the surgical units. Um, Mind you, I'm not going to be using real names. Even my own name is going to be different, but these are real stories. So, in today's episode, I'll be talking about a little child, rather, little children, because most of them present the same way, children less than 1 year old. And you get to see how these things happen, how these children present. Every parent, and indeed every intending parent, needs to watch this. Make sure you watch till the end. Make your comments, ask your questions, and let's know if you want other videos.
It was a crisp autumn afternoon when little Jacob, a joyful 7-month-old baby boy, laughed in the sunshine outside his family's modest home. His bright blue eyes twinkled with curiosity, and his chubby hands reached for everything around him. Jacob was a picture of health. He was active, strong, and loved by everyone who knew him. His parents adored him and were always there to shower him with attention. The neighbors often stopped by to coo over him, offering advice and affection. One afternoon, however, Jacob's infectious smile faded. He became fussy, unsettled, and began crying inconsolably. His normally carefree nature was replaced by bouts of irritability, which seemed to worsen with each passing hour. His parents, initially thinking it was just a mild discomfort, tried to soothe him with his favorite toys and songs, but nothing worked. As the evening wore on, his condition appeared to deteriorate further. By nightfall, Jacob's symptoms took a worrying turn. He passed a strange stool that his mother had never seen before. It was dark, thick, and looked eerily like red currant jelly. Concerned, his parents called up some neighbors who were quick to offer home remedies they believed had worked wonders in the past. One suggested a warm bath, another recommended ginger tea, and yet another said that perhaps the boy simply had a stomach bug and needed to sleep it off. Jacob's parents, feeling desperate and unsure, followed every piece of advice, hoping something would bring their beloved son comfort. But instead of getting better, Jacob's condition worsened. He became more agitated, jerking his legs uncontrollably as if in pain. His tiny body began to tense up, and his vomiting became frequent. His parents felt helpless and terrified as the hours stretched on, but they kept trying to make him comfortable with various concoctions suggested by neighbors. As the night wore on, it became painfully clear to Jacob's parents that nothing they were doing seemed to ease his suffering. His high-pitched cries cut through the quiet house, and the jerking in his legs intensified. His parents sat up with him, unsure what to do next. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they decided they could not wait any longer. The thought of taking Jacob to the hospital had crossed their minds earlier, but with each well-meaning neighbor offering advice, they had hesitated. But now there was no more time to waste. They rushed Jacob to the nearest hospital, praying they were not too late. At the hospital, Jacob was immediately attended to by a team of doctors. The medical professionals quickly recognized that this was not a simple illness. His symptoms suggested something much more serious. After a rapid assessment, they began a series of tests to understand the full extent of his condition. His parents, still in shock, could only watch as the doctors worked quickly to stabilize their son. It wasn't long before the diagnosis was clear. Jacob had intussusception, a condition in which a part of the intestine folds into itself like a telescope, causing severe pain and preventing food and waste from passing through. Worse yet, there was a long segment of his intestine that had become devitalized, meaning it was no longer receiving blood and was at risk of dying. The situation was grave. Jacob's doctors knew that he needed emergency surgery right away, but first they had to work quickly to optimize his condition. His tiny body had become dehydrated from vomiting, and he was in excruciating pain. Intravenous fluids were administered and pain relief measures were put in place. The clock was ticking, and his parents could only hope that their son would make it through the night. As the minutes stretched into hours, the surgical team prepared for the delicate procedure. Jacob's parents stood by, their hearts heavy with fear, knowing that they were entrusting their baby to the skilled hands of the surgeons. It was their only hope. The surgery was complicated but successful. The surgeons carefully removed the damaged segment of Jacob's intestine and restored bowel continuity. It was a delicate operation that required precision, but the doctors were confident that Jacob had a good chance of recovery. His parents, exhausted and overwhelmed with emotion, waited anxiously for news. As the hours passed, the doctors reported back with encouraging updates. Jacob was out of surgery and in recovery. His vital signs were stable, and the immediate crisis had been averted. The doctors were optimistic about his chances of making a full recovery. It was a huge relief for his parents, who had been on the edge of despair. In the days that followed, Jacob began to show signs of improvement. His appetite returned and his energy slowly came back. The days of pain and uncertainty seemed like a distant memory as he smiled once more. His parents, exhausted but overjoyed, couldn't stop thanking the medical staff for their swift action and care. Jacob's recovery was remarkable. Within a week, he was back to his old self, laughing, playing, and crawling around the house with the same energy he had before. His parents watched him with a renewed sense of gratitude, realizing how fragile life could be and how quickly things could change. The experience left them with an important lesson. In times of illness, it's crucial to seek professional help as soon as possible. Home remedies and advice from well-meaning neighbors may seem helpful, but when it comes to the health of your child, it is always better to trust the expertise of medical professionals. Waiting too long can lead to devastating consequences. The community too learned from Jacob's story. While they continued to offer love and support, they also recognized the importance of encouraging parents to seek immediate medical attention when necessary. The experience was a wake-up call for everyone, and it fostered a deeper sense of responsibility within the neighborhood. Jacob's parents often reflect on that terrifying night and the days that followed. They are forever grateful for the support of the medical team and the lessons they learned. Jacob, now a happy and healthy toddler, continues to be the bright light of their lives, a reminder of how precious and fragile life is. As for the lesson that remains with them, it is simple. When your child is ill, trust the doctors and get them the care they need. Time is often the difference between a simple recovery and a life-changing tragedy. And while love and community support are invaluable, nothing can replace the guidance of trained professionals. Jacob's story is one of hope, resilience, and the importance of acting quickly in times of need. His parents will never forget the fear they felt, but they are also thankful for the second chance they were given to hold their son close and watch him grow. In the end, little Jacob thrived, and his parents, forever grateful, vowed to never take for granted the gift of health and the wisdom that comes with knowing when to seek help.